Anyways, we're going to begin. And yesterday I did I came up with this sequence for winter solstice. And I'm going to just I'll pick up some of those poses for you today because I really love those poses. So, hi. Hi, Lulu. So, yeah. Oh, I'm sorry. I'll mute all. See, Meredith isn't here to remind me. Yeah. She did class. She couldn't make it to this class, so she did an earlier class. Okay. She told me. All righty. So here we go. The first part of our session is movement. Like, I just want you to really feel like you're moving into every joint of your body. So you're starting out with circling, circling, circling. So nice to see Michael. And John, I haven't seen you in a while either. I see your pictures. And then reverse, and really try to move into your shoulders. Move into your shoulders. Yeah, so, gosh, when we see each other, like, one day, like in person, it's going to be so interesting, isn't it? All right, and then from here, we're going over to a side bend movement. So you're still keeping your legs crossed the way they were. Maybe you drop your elbow down. So you're reaching actively. And then what do? You breathe into the area of stretch. Exhale. And come up. And the other side, reaching up. Inhale. And exhale. And I'm really sorry about having said I would be here on Thursday, and actually I'm not going to be here on Thursday because we'll be driving to Oregon. We're going to be going to Oceanside again. Our friend gave us his keys again. Stay at his beach house. So we'll be on the road. Reaching, extending, breathe into this nice side bend movement. So I'm here today, and I'll be here next Tuesday. And release. So we're going to recross the legs, but before you do, like, remember, I have my left in front of the other. Remember which leg is in front of the other or on top of the other, depending on how you sit. And we're going to go wide first. Go wide first. And then circle. Good. And circle. Ooh, get into inner thighs. Yeah, circle. And circle. And then reverse. Circle. And circle. And one more, circle. And then your feet. So you when you're pointing your toes, legs are straight. When you flex, your knees are bent. Circle, circle, and circle. And then reverse. Good. Good. Good job. And then from here, we reverse the leg crossing. So I remembered that, how I was sitting, and I just reversed that. And once more, a few circles. So this is just all about getting into your back, getting into your hip joints, your neck, and breathe. Reverse. One more, coming forward and coming up. Okay, so we're going to come onto our backs. And as we come onto our backs, let's go ahead and pull right knee to chest and lift your head to knee. Lower your head, and the other side, pulling left knee to chest, lift your head. Draw in. Lower. So you may need a strap. Maybe you can reach hand to foot. I like wrapped around big toe. Maybe you're there and you got your knee bent, or you can straighten, or of course using a strap. Meanwhile, you lift your head and your left hand is on your left thigh. So it's like you're bringing your head towards your knee, and at the same time you're engaging your core. Imagine that the goal here would be like your head to knee and your left hand to left knee, something like that. Breathe in, exhale, lower. Once you lower, take your head side, side. And then we have the other side. So using a strap or wrapping around your big toe, it's okay if your knee is bent. Maybe you can straighten. Take a breath in. Lift. So when you lift, you have your hand on your thigh. You're bringing your head to your knee, and your hand is reaching. You're trying to engage your core to try to reach right hand, right knee. Breath in. Exhale. And release. Then from here, we have the windshield wiper, so that you're really moving through your pelvis, kind of really getting the movement we need. And you'll see a lot of these movements, first half hour, are about really getting into the various joints of your body. Take your arms out to a T. When your knees go left, your head turns right. Knees right, head left. And continue that simple movement. Imagine I'm there to squash your shoulders down into the mat. I knew you'd like that, Wally. Pressing shoulders down, right? Good. And then from here, we're going to take the feet about hip distance apart, and we lift. You're coming up into bridge. So when you come up into bridge, your hands, you could have your elbows bent or hands pressing down, but I think very effective is to clasp your hands. Tuck shoulders underneath you. Lift, lift, lift. Push your feet into the mat and take a few rounds of breath here. So I keep working the pose. It's not just like I get into it and kind of hang out, but I'm, constantly trying to get the shoulders tucked underneath a little more and lifting, breathing in. Exhale. One more. Breath in. Exhale. Strengthens glutes, the back, the hamstrings. And then we release. Once you release, you know the counter pose, happy baby. Grabbing hold of your feet and stretching your low back. Go wide with the knees. Breathe in. Exhale. So we're going to let go of the right leg, right arm up overhead, right leg extending, and even turning your head to the left so you can really stretch the right side of your body. And then grab hold and go the other way. Let go, same hand, same foot, extending in opposite directions. Turn your head away from the stretch. Do that one more time on each side. Hold, happy baby, let go one side and stretch. Turn your head, breathe, grab hold, let go of the other side. Last one. Turn your head away from the stretch, breathe, stretch, and release back to happy baby. Good. All right. So from here, what we're going to do is we're going to come right up, and we're coming onto our bellies, okay? So maybe in a way that you can see me, you're going to start out with, let's go ahead and start out with our Sphinx. And this seems to be the safest for the back, so elbows are directly under shoulders. So many can go deeper, but if you can't, then this is the one that seems to work really well. Think about your pelvis pressing down, top of the thighs pressing down, tops of the feet pushing down. Some of you can go deeper. You can extend your arms, and as long as that's not really compressing, if you can, you extend. This is for a more limber back. Breathing in. Exhale. And then release. Now, you're bringing your forehead down. If we're doing this and it's not clear at all, you can always just come out and watch. As you're here, you're going to take your left leg up in the air, swing it across. It's that half locust. And then you tap the floor. You bend your left knee, you tap the floor, and you're taking your knee up. Okay, first one is slow. And then you come across the other way. You take your right leg up, swing it across, come onto the outside left hip, bend your right knee, tap the floor with your right toes, right knee pointing up, and come down. So that's going to be the movement, but it's kind of fast. You're going to go back and forth, And even though it's fast, I want you to work deeply. So once again, if you're not sure, you can always watch. You're going to come over, tap, and down. Over, tap, and down. The idea is, I don't know if it's fast, but you're at a pace. And as you go across, you're really taking a moment. This mic doesn't like this one. I'm trying to lift my head more so that my mic is okay. So you're going back and forth, back and forth. That one's hard to do with the mic. And because your face is kind of close to the floor, right? And you go up, across, reaching, and down. Up, across, reaching, and down. Yeah. I'm not coming up with the word, but anyways, there's the barnacles. Why was I coming up with that word? Anyway, so barnacles that come onto a shell or onto the sides of the whales, these barnacles. Well, the barnacles, in order to eat, in order to mate, they have to kind of lift up out of their little barnacle. The barnacle lifts out of the barnacle and then reaches across to its neighbor or to the food, right? So anyways, you're like a barnacle right now. You're reaching over to get your food, and then you're coming back into your place, your stationary home. And then you have to go out, but you're always attached to your home, and then you're going way out and coming back. All right, so wrap it up. That helps to really stretch your hip flexors and your ribs, and then come right back to child's pose. Take a moment, head down, and breathe. So I'd like to kind of see the after. I'm coming onto the belly again, and I want to see what is it like when I come onto my elbows. You should have more ease in your back. And as you're here, we'll come back and hold child's pose a little longer later. Maybe you can straighten, and maybe it is different for you. Breathe in. Exhale. And then lower, and then we have the spider hands, okay? So if you can't do the spider hands, you can always kind of use more strength to lift and lower, but if that works for you, or any kind of cobra here. So my elbows are pointing up, fingertips down, and I inhale, and I exhale. Inhale, exhale. Inhale. Exhale. One more. See how open your back is. And release. Those are very effective because it's part strength, part flexibility. So now you come up and back and just stretch out your spine. We'll hold a little longer this time in child's pose. Just take good deep breath in. Stretch your back. And exhale. Once again, nice deep breath in. And exhale. And then we come to downward facing dog. So from downward facing dog, hands are spread wide, and there you are, pedaling, bend one knee, press opposite heel down, stretch back and forth, back and forth. Something we have not done in a long time. It's kind of it's the calf stretch from downward facing dog. So basically, you take your right foot, you separate your big toe and next toe over, and you bring the wedge to the back of your ankle, and you push down and breathe. It's very effective. And then you'll do the other side. So you take your big toe, next toe over, and you separate them by placing right across the ankle, and you press down. Good. And once you press down, you get a great calf stretch. John Gunner likes this one too. So, all right. So we're going to go wide with the feet. Walk your hands back. Yay. All the weight is off your hands. Hands are to elbows, and breathe. Inhale. Like I make a sling. Breath in. Exhale. Good. And breath in. Exhale. So we're going to come to a squat. You could modify your squat, or you come all the way down. So when you come down, maybe you have to sit on a block, see what works for you. Hand down, one arm comes up. You're going to extend. It helps to open up the upper back. hand down, come on up, extend, reach, open the upper back, and down. Come across, inhale, reach up. Exhale, down. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, down. Good. Now as you come up, your hands go to the inside ankle, around to the back. You're going to extend. You're trying to straighten your back. Breathing in. Exhale. And breath in. Exhale. Soften the knees. Come on out. And come to standing. Good. I'll adjust my mirror. My screen. So as you're here, we've got, we're going to work a little bit on some balance, okay? So if balance is like, not your forte, you might find, I need to hang on to something. All right. So we're starting out with the foot coming forward, up and back. And what I'm trying to do is not shift too much. So I'm trying to keep kind of steady with my upper body. And I'm trying not to sweep the floor. And then sagittal plane, left, right. I'm trying to keep my knees straightened. And you can see, my body moves slightly, but I'm really trying to steady myself. So this standing leg is steady. Good. Diagonal, working the hip joints, diagonal. It seems like it would be easy, but then you see we really kind of work it. So same leg, out to the side and down, up, out to the side and down. Make big circles, up, out to the side and down, and reverse, up, out to the side and down, up, out to the side and down. Good balance, Tona. Up, out to the side and down. All right, now the leg is straight. I know, I told you it's a lot. And then down, back. This is the last one. Up, engage your core, back, and it looks like this. Up, out to the side, and back. You have to kind of move in that one. Whew, okay, we have a second side. Left leg, forward and back. I'm trying not to sweep the floor, so I have to kind of do this little lift. Not with the shoulders, but more from your core. Back and forth without swinging, and then left, right, sagittal plane, leg is straightened. That's the plane that some find really hard to work with, like half moon, triangle, extended side angle. And then you've got diagonal, up and back, diagonal. One more. Diagonal. Now, you bend the knee, you make big circles, okay? You have to take the arms out of the way. Big circles. Up, bend, up high, and circle, and reverse. Up, back, good. Do these every day, and you will have excellent balance, I'm telling you. Okay, last part is up, back, and down. Up, back, and down. One more, forward, up, back, and down. Yeah, so we go into another squat, all right? As you come into your squat, you're like, oh, that feels good, okay. And maybe you come down all the way, just see what is possible for you. And breathe, stretch your back. Inhale, exhale. Breath in, exhale. Good, and press on up. I don't know if Marianne joined us today. Marianne Kuchera painted some lotus flowers on my studio walls. They're so beautiful. They're on this side. So, all right. So then we are going to do one more like that. So basically, you know how you were reaching over, and then you're going to come over. Now, if you're like, not very good at these, have a block. It's fine to have a block. But they can't be in your way, okay? So, if I had my blocks there, I really don't want to knock them over. And come forward. What I'm doing is, now if you can't balance, your hands come to the blocks. If you can, your hands are to the heart. And do that twice. Come up, and the foot comes up, out to the side, back, and if it's really hard, also you could just kind of tap the floor, or you're coming down And this time I'm going to take my hands back by my pelvis. I'm going to point the back toe, arch a little bit. Yeah. And come out. Balance. And last one in this family of poses. Left leg comes up, you're pointing the toes, you're reaching. Usually I say flex in this one, but today I'm going to say point, and you're coming forward. We did 3 on the other side, I believe. I did 3. And then come up and forward, out to the side, any way you like. If you like your hands forward, of course, do that. And coming over, if you want to reach for your blocks, do that. Last one. And you reach out to the side, and your hands will be back by the pelvis. So one of the things you do in winter is you have to ignite your own heat. You ignite your fire. And come on out. And good job. Okay, let's come to a squat again. And you could modify or coming down. Each one gets a little easier. Yeah? Breathe in. Exhale. All right. So blocks could come in handy, so you have them nearby. That's fine. And the way it will work, we're going to stand at the front end of the mat. I'll sometimes put my mat at an angle, but I won't. Okay. Hands are to heart center, and we're going to take the right leg back, and the heel will come down. Warrior 1, so you want to really, deepen the bend in your left knee, reach the arms up, look upward, and breathe. Arms are out at a T. Since it's your left knee forward, your right arm comes over the other, wrap, send your elbows up, and breathe. From here, you're going to unwind, clasp hands behind the back, squeeze shoulder blades back, look up, and then we're starting to come forward. So you're kind of aiming towards that right front corner of the mat. It's called the humble warrior. So you're lowering, your shoulder dropping down, your head dropping down, your arms moving away from your back. Yeah, what is that? What does that mean, the humble warrior? Like, what does that mean for you? It's been a humbling year. Yeah, breathing in. Exhale. And then press and come on up. You're going to come to this place where you're wide. And I'm going to say, challenge yourself to go a little wider as long as you're not slipping. You should be fine. Clasp your hands behind the back. Like imagine you make your arms disappear behind your back. And look up. Come forward. Fold from the hip. Come forward. Lower. Take your sits bones up, your head down, your arms moving away from your back. And breathe. And then come on up. And as you come up, we're going to take the heels, toes, release your hands, and standing in mountain. So once you stand in mountain, your feet are together, and you'll raise your heels and lower. See if you can keep the heels touching. Raise and lower, and then we'll add the arms. Raise and lower and raise. Heels want to come apart and lower. So we have a whole other side. I'll do from here. And we'll start out. Left leg moves back. And the heel is going to be grounded. And pelvis squared. Arms come up. Take a moment. Looking up. And breathe. Inhale. Exhale. And then we take the arms out to the sides, and it's left arm over the other, and wrap, and take your elbows up, and breathe. The hybrid pose, again, it's interesting, huh? It's kind of like something of the times, it's indicative of the times, a hybrid. You're part warrior, part eagle. I think the way of the future is going to be lots of hybrid work. Breathe in, people going to office less, working from home more, occasionally going to the office, hybrid work situations. Breathe in. Exhale. Yep. And then from here, take your hands behind your back. So it's like, how do the poses, kind of speak to our lives? How do they reflect how we live? Lift your heart center. Breathe in. Exhale. And then come forward. And as you're coming forward, bring your shoulder down. Lower your head. Be patient with yourself. Take your arms up, up, up. Look at your left foot. Can your left little toe be connected to the mat? And breathe. And then we'll come up. And then we turn. So we go slightly wider. And that last pose, it has that element of strength and flexibility simultaneously happening in the hip. So this time the hands are going to slide down the legs, sliding down the outer leg, reaching for outside calf muscle or ankle. Maybe go a little wider. Lower your head. Breathe in. Exhale. And then hands onto your low back. And you come up. And then once again, heels in, toes, heels, toes. And just make your way up until the feet are all the way together. And then we go up and lower, up and lower. Try to keep your heels together, up and lower. Mm-hmm. So then we have a pose that it's a variation on the pose called goddess pose. Think of it as horse, but that's kind of the pose, but Devi Asana. And then, but what you want to do is, as you're doing this, it's like regardless of one's gender, you're going to be the winter solstice goddess right now. Okay, regardless of gender. So, I know you've always wanted to do this. Okay, so you're going to bend your knees. And I would say usually I go fairly wide. In horse, I like to go wide. You're not going to want to go too wide for this pose because you want to have control in it. So you drop down. Again, I'm not going to go that wide. Did you see how much I kept bringing my legs in? Because I know this pose. I'm going to go about right there. As long as I have like a 90 degree and I feel like, okay, I can control this. So you're going to take your arms out and you're going to take your right arm over the other. Fingertips, or not your palm, your fingertips are going to reach down, touch down. Once you're here, your heels come up. You're on the ball of your foot. Your heels are up and you're trying to extend your back. Ooh, it's a deep hip opening. Breathe in. Little toes are connected to the mat. You're looking down at your mat. Breath in. Exhale. Bring your heels down and reach up. Hands are to heart. Yes, of course, is another one. There's two of them. Okay. So now you're like, I'm bringing my feet closer in. Someone called it the shaky-legged horse pose. That could work too, the shaky-legged horse. So we're going to drop down because it's when you raise your heels that it becomes really hard. Try it right from here. Raise, raise, lower, lower. I know, it's tough. So here we go. Left arm over the other. Fingertips reach down. And as your fingertips reach down, drop your pelvis down, raise your heels. Okay, now at least your fingers can help you from falling forward. Breathe in. Exhale, you decide, is it goddess pose, winter solstice goddess pose, or is it shaky-legged horse? And then heels down and come up and reach and hands together. Yesterday, it was shaky-legged. Today, my legs are strong. So it's different every day. Stand in mountain. Take a moment, breathing in. Exhale. And again, breathing in. Exhale. So it is a combination. You have triangle, half moon. I'd like to give the overview because of how we'll work. And you might say, oh, I need my block, so I'm going to go to a wall. Okay. That's the beauty of it, is that these poses can all be adapted for every person, right? So here we go. My left foot is leading the way. And I'm going to extend. Triangle. Geometric form, strong. So what I'm going to have you do is bend your elbows and really make your muscles bulge, okay? Popeye biceps. And then as if you're going to turn your hands out, as if you're pushing walls apart. They're caving in on you, and you're like, no, 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 and you're pushing them apart. And the strength that takes, your arm's going to keep extending, and then your wrists are not flexed. You come over, and you come into, you still have that pushing strength, even though it is also a stretch pose. There's strength involved, and you're in triangle. Yeah. And then, from here, we're going to come up, and we're going to do not a revolved triangle, but a reverse triangle. So your hand is back, maybe it's on your thigh or to your knee or past your knee. And top arm up and look upward. Breathing in. Exhale. And then we go into half moon. So you're starting to bend your knee already and reaching for your block. But as best as you can, kind of keep your hip open as you come into the pose, so you have less work to do when you're in it. And then you flex the ankle, arms are up, and breathe. And then from here, right hand down, right knee down, half spinal twist. So I'm coming back. It's going to be like my left leg on top of the other. This is where some people have to make adjustments. Maybe your lower leg is straightened. And as you're here, reaching up, inhale, and hand or elbow, right elbow across left knee, twist, and look back. Breathing in. Exhale. Come out. And we're pressing back to downward facing dog. So pressing on back. Take a moment to stretch out your legs. Breathe in. Exhale. And then walk or spring forward. Once you're forward, pause, looking at your knees, and then look ahead of you. And forward. Utkatasana, chair. Dropping down and extending your arms. Breathe in. Exhale. Push feet into the mat. Lift up. Arch back. And hands are to heart center. and we'll open it out again. So if you were definitely using a block, bring it over to side 2. Right foot turns out. Back heel pushes out slightly. Remember, we're going to make your muscles strong, and then as if you can push out against a wall, pushing, pushing, pushing. And then shift, as if you're still pushing against walls. And then same thing, when you come into it, you're pushing up. So there's a quality of strength in this, as well as a stretch. Notice if you're forward, can you move back and breathe? Lower hand is light. And come up. Move back. So reverse. So your hand is, ideally your hand is kind of touching the back of your knee. If you can go there, right? And then some are able to go a little further back. And I know some bring their hand on the low back. That works as well. So look upward, breathe in. Exhale. Now, we've created space, right, along the right side. How can I keep this space as I now shift into half moon? So, how can I not collapse into that space? I know, there's that tendency. But as I come in, how can I create space and breathe? Good. Half moon. Push out through the heel of the leg up in the air. Yeah. Strong. So much about concentration. We're going to start to bend the right knee. Bring your left knee down behind the other leg. Shift back. Bring your right foot across. So your right knee is the one that's raised. Your right foot anchored. It's easy to just kind of go like that, but when you push down, then you have to work from your right hip. Left arm up, extend, inhale. Exhale, come across, elbow across knee, twist, and look back. And breathe. And then releasing. And as release, we're going to come back to downward facing dog. Press on back. Fingers are spread wide. Come back and stretch. And just take a moment. Bend one knee. Press opposite heel down. Back and forth. Back and forth. We're going to come forward to plank. And we'll come to side plank. So you choose your side, you choose your variation. One knee can come down to make it easier. And maybe you have your feet stacked. Some can get fancy on me. Reach up. Extend. We're going to come to side 2, shift, hand down, other side up. Extend, breathing. And again, do the variation you did on side 1. Come back to plank. Bring your knees down. Press back to child's pose. Bring your hands back by your feet so your wrists can release. Forehead down. to come to sitting. It's Virasana. So, there's a block under me, okay? It's hard to see it. I know when I teach, and especially like at SAC, it's a little dark, in our yoga space, and I'm like, I can't tell if people are sitting on a block unless they have to see. So do what you need to do so that your quads are happy, your knees are safe, okay? We know birthday boy Vester, his birthday's tomorrow. He has, he really works beautifully with props, and I love that. He sits up, in that front corner of the room because he teaches us and gives us permission to use props when we need to, and he gives us ideas. And so he will prop this up. He'll have blocks, he'll have bolster, so he's kind of more sitting here. That's where he needs to be for his knees, for his quads. And so, learn from others, right? So like, okay, that's where I need to be. In my case, I'm not going to have anything under me, okay? And you're going to start, well, let me show this. So how many blocks you have, it just depends. Some of you are like, woo, you go back and there's a quad stretch. Some can come onto the elbows. Some are working just one leg at a time. Much easier, okay? Do what is possible. I'm going to go into Supta Virasana. Supta Virasana means reclining, like you're really on your back. And some even will take a block under, right? Maybe you don't need the blocks, you're not sitting on them, and you could come back, or arch, or no block, okay? Wherever you're at, if you were doing one side at a time, switch. If you're doing both sides of time, hold steady, hang on, hold on, and take your hands to elbows and breathe. Really breathe into your lungs, especially if you're lying back, you're really arched. One more breath for all of us. Breathing in, exhale. So to come out, use your hands. You'll press yourself forward. And you could just straighten one leg at a time. That's a nice kind of way to come out. And then, of course, the other leg. We have pigeon. So if pigeon doesn't work for you, that's fine. You will come into threading the needle. You're home, you know what? You might have some wall space. Let's see. I'll show. So those of you who can go into pigeon, start going into pigeon. Maybe I can't remember if I showed you my lotus flowers. I don't know how well you can see them, but they're up, and they're all across the wall, and they're probably about like that big. You can't tell. The perspective is different on the camera. Anyways, if you are at, if you're home and you are home. If you have wall space at home. I'm going to be on I don't want to be cold. So if you're, maybe you do your threading the needle like this, or maybe you're right up against the wall and you do like so, all right? And some of you are already on your mats, on your backs, or in pigeon, okay? So it doesn't matter right or left, we're going to do both. I'll shift the camera again. Breathe in. Exhale. So, okay. Wonderful stretch. This is my right knee forward. Really doesn't matter which hip you're stretching first. But it's nice to do this towards the end of the session, after we've done a lot of the strengthening of the hip area, and now you have this. Now, especially if you're in pigeon, you can stay down, or you can start to bend your back knee, lift, and get into your quad even more. We're going to switch sides. So if you're on your backs, go ahead and switch sides. If you are in downward facing dog, if you're in pigeon, downward facing dog, and then second side, and lengthen. And then as you feel ready, come onto your elbows Lower your head and breathe. And then we start to come up. We're going to bend the back knee, point toes upward, breathe in, exhale, and then once again, press back to downward facing dog and stretch it out. Take a moment to stretch. So we bend the knees. We're coming to sitting. And this one, I believe we've done this in class where your feet are at a wall. It can be done where your feet are pushing into a wall. Like say that's the wall, your foot would be pushing into the wall, or you're at your mat, that's fine. And your arms are extended. You're going to draw your belly in, and you're moving back. So your feet pressing together, you're going back, you're going back, you're going back. And then you're pressing up, extend, and reach. Exhale, moving back, moving back, moving back. And then come up. You're trying to keep your legs together. So it's kind of like this slow motion. Imagine you got a bungee cord, you're shifting back, and then you pull yourself up and extend. All right. So we're going to come onto our backs. And what I'm going to say is shoulder stand, or the easier way is people put a block underneath. Again, you could go to a wall. You can have your legs up a wall. That works as well. Okay. Some people push into the wall and they come up more controlled. But if you can, once you're in your shoulder stand, you're not going to look at the screen anymore. So you're lifting, and you're really trying to take your elbows closer in. You would like your body to be like a candlestick. You're not pointing, not flexing. Some push up through the ball of the foot. That's fine. Your feet are together, and you breathe. So you do want to feel that sort of draining sensation, right? The lymph is sort of draining away from the ankles. This is so good. Anybody here has any kind of edema? This is very good. Edema like in the ankles or the lower legs. And then from here, you're going to take maybe, if you're in shoulder stand, even if you're at the wall, take one leg as if you're trying to reach it in towards you or towards the floor, up overhead. And then you'll bring that leg back up. You're not looking at the screen. One leg is reaching to the sky, one leg reaching to the floor. And then up. And then maybe you're going into plow, so your feet are reaching towards the floor. And again, don't look at the screen. Reach, breathe, deep stretch to the spinal cord, spinal column. And then start to bend the knees and come on out. Oh, block is there. And come on out. And then we'll all just come out. Have your feet flat onto the mat. And take your head from side to side. Release your neck. Release your neck. So we have lots of things. Like some of you have tennis balls. Some of you have a little miniature basketball. You have a foam roller at home. Maybe you have a bolster, a block, a rolled blanket, Or you could do fish pose. Okay, we're going to come over. I have the block under me, and I'm going to arch, okay? Come into something. What we're looking for is something that's going to help to open the throat. So bridge doesn't work so well in this. We have been pressing on the thyroid and the parathyroid glands. The last two poses, shoulder stand and plow, or legs up the wall. So we need something that's going to open. It could be camel, could be fish pose, could be lying over a block, some kind of art. It could be a full back bend. Reach your arms up overhead, or arms are at a T position, and breathe. Well, we're going to start coming out because I want to make sure we have a Shavasana. You roll out. Just roll out. As you roll out, you remove the block or whatever you had underneath you. If you have a bolster, if you're so lucky to have a bolster, bring it under your knees so you can lie. I'll tell you, there's nothing like relaxing like that, and hope that was on your wish list for the holidays. Or maybe it's the gift you get yourself for the holidays. I have a feeling that, online yoga will be continuing for a little while. And so here we are. And knees, yeah, good. So arms could be at a T. Arms could be like, out to the sides. And just take a moment. Let your legs completely relax. And breathe. Nice and open. Really find a place where it's very restful. You are, there's this, thinking of the words here. The really cool thing happens when you're learning. And when we're doing yoga, we're in a learning situation. All of us. I'm in a learning situation. Though I'm leading the session, I'm learning constantly. Otherwise, I would be bored to death if I wasn't learning constantly. Constantly growing, learning. And in that learning process, something really interesting happens, right? So to learn, we have to kind of put ourselves in a little bit a place of vulnerability, right? I have to be really open and willing to listen and believe and do and be. There's all this happening on a subtle level. Maybe it's very obvious. But I move to the center of the line. Imagine we're in a circle, and I move to the center of the circle. And I can't go past that center. You have to come and step in the center with me. And to me, what's fascinating is that happens in a class, in person, but it also happens online. We have this circle, and I step in the middle, and you step in the middle, and that's where the teachings and the learning really takes place. So right now, you're in this place, and you're really open. You are open to the promise of this moment. You're open. Your body is free. You're open to the energy that's scintillating in your body right now. You're open to the learning process, and that is life. We have to kind of step out there. That's what I meant by the vulnerability. You have to take that step forward and move into the center of the circle. Today's session is dedicated to traces of light. traces of light, having to do with this concept that, yes, after yesterday, the days now, we all like kind of snuggled through the eye of the needle, woo, and then we came out the other end, and now there's the other end, and the days are gradually growing longer. In fact, by an average of 2 minutes and 7 seconds per day. But that's not very perceivable yet. Very, it's something that grows. It's how growth happens. It's so slow. And then one day you think, I need a haircut. It just happens. With children, like all of a sudden they're growing, you're looking like, oh, you need a new pair of pants. Just as the light grows and the days get longer, so our hope grows. Our optimism grows for, an end to this pandemic, for healing of those affected. We're going to begin to deepen the breathing. Begin to move your hands and your feet. And let's go ahead and you can turn your audio, your video on, whatever you're comfortable with.